it out as you should when you leave.
Rightio, everybody, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you. It's everybody here again on this chilly spring morning. No apology. That's good. Public forum. Checked out the front to see if there's anybody at the front.
Good point. I didn't see one.
Please. Cool, thanks, Margaret. Going out the front. Danny, I see you're here. Were you wanting to speak at public forum?
I may.
You may. The floor is yours, sir.
Okay, I just, a phone call from the Waikato Post or the New Zealand Herald, and you know, they talked about this and that. So I went in and had a look at the report, and I sent an email to Bubble saying that I've read the report. So I just wanted to come here and face to face. But one of the reasons I'm here is firstly I would like to thank the Coromandel Colville Community Board for actually their support in trying to get this request for service action. As I sense that the board members are just as frustrated as myself over it. And I just want to correct a statement. Everything I read or I'm told when I speak to the press, really, not myself, that I'm quoted as being very angry. For the record, I'm not angry, just totally disappointed and frustrated. I'm not angry. If I was angry, I probably would be banned from coming here. But I must, I still have to ask the big question: what has council management staff been doing for 7 years? You know, because the initial RFF was initiated in 7 years. So I'm just saying, what are council management staff doing? So reading the roading manager's report, it seems to me that the big stopping blocks is budget, cost, and a plan in case the speed limit changes does not meet the legislation, the proposed legislation. Everything I read indicates they're talking about the roads are controlled by transit, not the local roads. That's my opinion. Again, I have to ask, what has council management done in the last 7 years? So we are a very close, caring community at Little Bay. So what I would like to offer is if council can supply the material, locations, specifications, we, the Little Bay Ratepayers Association, can use MS Civil and MS Civil Construction, Nick Pemberton Construction, who are residents within the Little Bay and have concerns for their young children's safety with an open limit within the bay itself. And they're all parents and grandparents. And both those, MS Civil and Nick Pemberton Construction, are both TCDC approved contractors. So we would be willing to install the signs at no cost to the council. Whether that's an offer that the council can accept or not. And so that's the main reason I come to give you my thanks and pose an offer. And also try and understand what is the next step.
Thanks, Danny. Certainly, yeah, as the chair of the Little Bay Resident Ratepayers Association, representing your community, thank you again for coming. And yeah, we definitely sense your frustration. Anyone have any questions for Danny?
Danny, I'll phrase the question because we're not allowed to eat on it. Are you aware that a number of councils around the country are facing the same predicament this council is currently facing regarding the speed limit?
Yeah, I am.
It's not unique to us.
Yeah.
It is a shame that we started this process 7 years ago, and we got right to the point of things happening. But we are at a fork in the road at the moment, and we don't know what the government's going to do. So I can totally understand staff just at this precise point on saying they are reluctant to put those signs in. I guess looking at it from both sides, they are keen to not waste ratepayers' money, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
By putting signs in a month's time, they may very well have to. So I see it very much as a case of really bad timing for us to be at the point we're at. We're just waiting for government to give some indication as to which way they're going to go. I don't think there's a reluctance by staff to proceed, and I don't think money is a huge issue because the voting manager said it was going to be about $5,000. Council to do what they have to do on this. So I don't think money is a big problem. I do believe it's just a matter of timing and waiting to see what actually comes out of central government. And staff have held back because they are reluctant to spend ratepayers' money, which is our money, just at this precise point in time when they may have to change things further down the track. I know this legislation has the potential to cost this council a number of hundreds of thousands of dollars for changes. I know that Hamilton City Council are up for millions of dollars to undo what they've done over there. And it's just a matter of time. So I'd ask you to just wait 7 years. Let's just wait another month or two to see what comes out of central government. So,
Which I feel is a valid comment. That what my concern is for the community is, again, this request will get put on the back burner. It'll be another 7 bloody years before we do anything about it. So what I'm really I understand the hesitance for the council to do this speed limit change now, but I don't understand 7 years ago.
no, and I cannot.
So that's history, right? So what I'm looking forward is a commitment from the council, this community board, to say that when we understand the new speed limit, right, we will commit to doing this, or within whatever time period. But I don't think it's acceptable to anyone, whether it's the Little Bay Ratepayers Association, the community, the board, the full council, just to put this on the back burner and do nothing about it until someone gets up again and goes, what the hell's going on?
Thanks, Danny. Appreciate that. And yeah, definitely something that I'm sure John will carry forward for us. Things become a bit. No more questions?
Because I just can't understand another point. And I could be wrong, but when I drive to Thames, the dead straight highway between Coromandel and Ticoon, it's got a temporary speed sign on it. And it wasn't there, as far as I can remember, a month ago.
Yeah, they've been there
It's
since the time.
supposed to be removing them, aren't they?
Once.
It's 8 years now.
Yeah, and then 60 past my place. Yeah, they've been there right from the beginning.
The 80K one?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, they were.
They are about to be removed.
They are being removed.
Removed.
Yeah, nobody uses them, so they might as well get rid of them.
Okay,
All right.
cool. Thank you, Danny.
Thank you.
And with no one else being here from public forum, move on.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Have a good meeting, eh?
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, then.
See.
So, get a motion to receive Danny's presentation at the public forum. Have a mover and a seconder.
I second it.
Those in favour?
Aye.
Motion carried. Having seen the agenda, are there any conflicts of interest that anybody has? I'd like to declare. And are there any additional items that people wish to be considered as part of this meeting that aren't on the agenda? Okay. Thank you. We have the previous minutes from our meeting. 22nd of August. Everyone read the minutes that were in the packet? Anyone have any questions regarding the accuracy of the minute? Okay. In case, I'd like to move that we confirm the minutes from the 22nd of August.
I'll second.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Motion carried. That's confirmed.
It's online.
So that's the first agenda item, the Tuateawa Road Little Bay speed limit change. Hello, Ed.
Good morning, board. I'll take the report as read. I'll be happy to try and answer any questions and give as much advice as I can on this.
Hey, anyone have any questions?
Just one from again through the chair. Morning, Ed. I was just looking at the requirement to all schools will require a variable 40-kilometre speed limit to be established between 8 and 9 and 3 and 4. Is that going to be legislated that they will have to have those signs outside them, Ed?
My understanding is that it will form part of the legislation and that council will be required to put the signs in within 2 years of the Act becoming law.
So it will be a council expense.
That's my understanding at the moment, yes.
And just for the board, what's the likely cost of doing that outside every school in the district, Ed? Just be interesting.
Right, these are very rough costs because we are working on this and we are assuming that they will have to be variable message signs, electronic variable message signs. The costs that we're talking about could potentially be $12 million.
$12 million cost to the district just for those signs.
That's the cost for installation. There would obviously then be an ongoing cost for maintenance of approximately 5% of that.
Quite considerable, isn't it?
It's an extreme amount, yes.
Have questions? Just one from me, Ed. Thanks for the report. Again, appreciate your patience repeating over and over. Just one question to help us to explain to the Little Bay community how we arrived at our interpretation of the current situation. With regards to your understanding that all of the speed limits imposed since 2020 will need to be changed, can you please advise what document gives you that impression?
That was a consultation document that was provided from the ministry.
Yep.
basically when the initial consultation on the new speed limit was put out, there was correspondence attached to that that advised that any speed limit order that had been imposed under the previous legislation would be revoked.
Is that the one with the proposals? I was just looking at proposal 7, where it mentions that all speed limits reduced will be reversed on the following roads: local streets with 30k surrounding a school, arterial roads, urban connectors, and rural state highways, and regional connectors. Just looking at the Little Bay Road doesn't seem to fit any of those descriptions.
The document I think you're referring to is the consultation document on the new legislation. Is that correct?
Yes, council gave feedback on it June or July.
Yes, that's correct. Yes. There has been information issued since then, and as I say, this is purely guidance at the moment from both Ministry and NZTA that all speed limits under the previous legislation would be revoked. What we have is an absence of clarity from government on what the new legislation will actually contain. And this is the problem that we have, that this creates the risk that if we do put in the new speed limit, we may then as a council be liable in the imminent future to remove that speed limit at our cost.
Right. Okay, thank you.
One more question.
John?
So Ed, when we get through this process and we have some clarity, we'll still have residents at Tuateawa Little Bay wanting to have this slower speed put in up there. What sort of work do we have to do to actually get the lower speed limit in place?
At this moment, I would not be able to confirm what we would have to do. The indication that we have from government at the moment is they expect a community consultation. So that, again, we don't know what form that is expected to be. We also have to have a business plan or a report that indicates what the effect of that speed limit would be on the commercial aspects of the area. In this case, it would probably be negligible. That would then need to be referred, and again, this is my understanding from conversations that I've had with members of the agency. The report, etc., would then need to be referred to the agency, potentially reviewed by the minister. And if that is acceptable, then council will be given approval to create that speed limit. That in itself could potentially be an issue because it basically overrides the council's ability as the road controlling authority to set speed limits within the district. So I believe that is currently a challenge that is being mounted by other councils to the proposals within the Act as they stand at the moment.
Sounds like by then we will have had another election and we'll have another steering the ship and we'll have to start all over again.
Another 7 years.
I wouldn't want to comment on that, but there is that possibility, yes.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, thank you, Ed. Thank you so much for your time again. And yeah, keep up the good fight.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Cheers.
So the recommendation is that we receive the Tuateawa Road Little Bay speed limit change update report dated 28th of August. Do you have a mover and a seconder?
I'll move.
I'll second it.
Any debate on the motion? I put the motion. All those in favour? Aye. Aye. Motion's carried. Move on to much more positive things. Emergency management units. Della, welcome to Coromandel.
Gary.
Morning, Gary.
They can be handed out.
Oh, it's probably not now, though.
Concentrate on Here, Kevin. Danny, can you pass that one down to Jean? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for your records, madam. Thank you. Do you want some?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Hi.
Yep. No, I don't need that. But just thanks for having us, and Stephen and I are here today to give you an update on where we are in terms of the emergency management space recovery, the roading, which is quite topical this morning. Stephen may get to it. So we'll start off with Stephen on the roading side of things.
Thanks, Gary. Chair, good morning, everybody. So look, we're not asking for any decisions or analysis of those handouts today. We just wanted to drop them into the reading file, partly because the NZTA would have hoped to have been able to come with us in this round of community board meetings, but we're busy explaining the National Land Transport Program to their stakeholders. So they've apologised, but they did send us some slides in the interim. It's a little bit about the speed limit issues in there for you to have a look at. And the one sheet, it's just the one pager. That's a little list of the state highway repairs and rebuilds that are going on right now through to early 2025. And so there's some indicative dates there where the location is, and that's been fully funded by some leftover cyclone recovery money in the roading area. This area was allocated $21 million to continue the water table work, and some of the underslip and overslip reinstatements that are still taking place. And NZTA have said they're going to do their best to get the balance right as we come into spring and summer, because they've got works planned on the network right through the summer period, and they'll be trying to balance up the inconvenience that causes with busier roads with getting the job done. And we'll no doubt hear from their summer planning, there will be a shutdown period over that Christmas New Year time where the only activity on the state highway network will be emergency safety repairs. We think the running total on state highway repair and rebuild from the North Island weather events, two cyclones and the Northern History flood. Back in 2023, the state highway network in Coromandel has enjoyed about a $150 to $170 million investment to get it to where it will be by 2025. By then, some cyclones and or storms.
Thanks, Gary. Any questions of Stephen on the voting?
So local roads, continuing on with the.
Yep, there's probably over 30 sites have been completed. Ed and the team have got about 30 sites programs to be reinstated, repaired. is funded at 51% from UTA. Council chipped in with its 49%. And that program, most of that activity is Colville Road, Kennedy Bay Road, and Tapu Karakia. So nearly all of that outstanding storm rebuild work is in this part of the district.
Those big roadworks, a lot of, well, closing the road for periods of time has become much more frequent and much more standard process than it used to. I think getting in the net from the local communities, communication around those closures. Moment lacking. So if there's anything that we can do when a decision's made that the road is going to be closed and open on the hour or open lunchtime, appreciate those decisions make it in some cases possible to do those roadworks. Always they would make it more efficient to do the roadworks. The more notice the community has of those closures, the better.
Yeah, and I do think through the chair that the practice of road cones and stop go and very long waits, they are NZTA and the contractors are definitely trying to reduce the numbers of sites where that is occurring and going for the more 30-minute closure, decent messaging sign updates and so on. And that appears to be well received compared to sitting in a queue, not knowing what the heck is going on. And it doesn't take long to get a bunch of frustrated motorists who just don't know when they're going to be able to get through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what Gavin was getting at was that people like north of here have got very little communication mobile ways. And so a lot of them don't know because the only thing that we see is on Facebook when the council put out something that says, hey, we're having a road closure here and there, which is great for us that use mobiles, but up north, all the farmers and that don't use them because they have no coverage. We're working up there at the moment, and the people that we're working for didn't know about the last road closure until we told them, and they had to then ring the trucking company to say, hey, you're going to have to time it right, otherwise you're not going to get in and out, to get stock in and out. So that's just one example of what we knew.
But what is the solution? What else can?
Well, there must be some other way of contacting and letting people know apart from mobile services.
I do know, though, living in a rural community, I'll just speak out, that when there's works happening in a specific community up north, I do know that letter drops have happened in all the letter boxes. They've let the schools know. I certainly know I've been contacted to get contacts. It's a little bit like you can try your best to let everyone know, but there's always someone who's not going to know. And it is for that fact that lots of people do live in the bush and don't have, it just is what it is. But I do personally think that our roading guys have really improved those processes in the last few months. It's made a big difference.
Yeah, and Ed and the team have now been using some, contractors who have not been traditionally part of the local road network, and the feedback we're getting is that people can see that progress has been made and people are being better advised, but it's never going to be perfect.
I agree. It's never going to be perfect, but what I'm trying to emphasise is that there needs to be something specific for the outer lying areas. I don't know whether, like Margaret said, maybe
Things are
flyer
improving.
drop into letterboxes or something. Go back the old school, just for those ones, because we don't have paper anymore either. We only have the Chronicle, and that's okay. That the Chronicle would work if you've got plenty of time to advertise. But that's
Just thinking broadly about it, I guess, and telling the postie gets it to almost everybody.
True.
But then that kind of creates,
Yeah.
action in itself. But just, I guess, you're aware of the inconvenience that it causes. We know that it's the way to get the job done. Just, let's make sure we're communicating as much as we can to those people.
With you, Bubbles, talking about the schools, I noticed that years ago in the Mākura, they used to give the kids the newsletter that's happened around, and then they would ask those children to drop it off at fire or and put it into their letterboxes. So a little bit of that was done quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Going just through the report quickly, I'll take the report as read, Chair. The big thing is that we're moving possibly, apart from the revenue issues that we still face, we're moving out of recovery possibly by November, hopefully, if we don't have any more events. So that will end like a 16-month program that works with recovery. So it's quite significant. But as Stephen mentioned, the cost has exceeded $170 million, of which we have very successfully, I must say, on a national basis, secured most of that from the government. The social recovery and the resilience project alone collectively was over $1.5 million. In grants and NGOs and philanthropic organisations donating money, including Red Cross and so forth. So we have been very successful nationally in probably not complaining too much, not using media to squawk about how our life is so dire. And we've just got on with it. And we've been quite fortunate. We've had a lot of ministerial visits, many ministerial visits, and they've gone away and supported applications and so forth. So, but we're coming to the end of it. It's worked well. The resilience project is especially in that social recovery side of things. It's not flavour of the month for the government at the moment, but it has worked for us around the Coromandel, because what it's done in terms of my role, it's picked up a lot of firefighting activity that doesn't necessarily come into council. It's dealt with out in the communities, and where there's an issue, where there's a social conscience issue with the community, they've addressed it themselves collectively with one of our staff. So it's been very, very helpful. So I'll take any questions on the report, Mr. Chair. Questions?
Just with respect to placarded houses within our area, do you know how many properties are north of Waikawa?
Most of them are further down on the Kings Coast Road.
Yep.
The ones that we are dealing with. Placarded properties, Stephen chairs a group every fortnight, is it? Yeah, and there's a real effort to try and address these. But as you see in the report, there's a whole lot of mitigating circumstances outside of our control that mean that we just can't get enough traction and progress to closure. But there's a lot of effort going into getting results, getting those placards removed or downgraded.
Any questions? Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for your time. And Gary, I understand you're moving on.
Moving on, I'll be up here possibly one more visit. Successor.
Yeah.
The appointment's made, and I'll make an appointment to come up and introduce him or her.
No. Okay, look forward to it. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Yes.
It's recommended that we receive the Emergency Management Unit update report dated 16 August 24. Have a mover and a seconder.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Any debates? That was the sort of shouldn't. All those in favour? Aye.
Aye.
Carry. CAPEX projects, other information updates. Luke, welcome. Thank you for coming up.
Through the chair, my name is Luke Archibald. I am the new person in the seat for leading the capital delivery for council I have been in role, I think 9 weeks. My head round all the different pieces of the puzzle and all the projects around the district. And as my first report in, which will be a regular thing for me, I thought I'd come up and say hello, as well as review the report today. My background, previous to this role, I was with Hamilton City Council, leading the Park and Recreation Manager role. Before that, with Doc, out of National Office, leading the Strategic Project Unit, dealing with all the gnarly projects around the country for them. So really happy to be back into that project program portfolio space, and keen to dig in and work and build some great value for the board and for the community.
Thank you.
So I guess today presenting the report, which is a little bit different to what you would have normally seen. It's a new LTP and start of a new year. So this report gives you a sense of what got approved and what's on the cards to be delivered this year.
Sorry to interrupt, Lee. I'm just looking around the members. Jen,
Can't read.
they've only got half the thing. I'm just looking around. Are you able to bring it up on the screen?
Sure.
Thank you.
So the layout is a little bit different. What you'll see is we've grouped them slightly different to how they were done. You'll see the dark blue banners have broken down by team so that you know which team is responsible for delivering the project. So project delivery is my team. We're delivering about half of the capital projects for council. And then the other parts of the business deliver other elements. So roads, for instance, is an external project management firm that delivers it. And that's a pretty big portion of the remainder. So I'll take the, essentially this layout will try to merge in with the regular report that you're used to so that you've got a consistent approach on and hopefully a bit easier read for you going forward. Just pausing to see if we can get it up on the screen. Beautiful.
Pop right out.
Pop right up.
You can pop yourself out.
How do you get that big?
So just while we're working through that, the forms, the current format is the project, the scope, and then the budget.
Yes.
So that's the money that we've got for 1 year to spend.
Yep.
As we go forward to the next meeting, we'll get another column that shows progress, not a couple of columns.
Yeah, so it'll go back to what you're probably used to seeing,
Oh, yeah.
just ordered by team.
Yep.
Right. And so the idea is that going forward, we'll be able to give you that update of what did we do since the last meeting.
Yep.
What have we got planned going forward until the next meeting comes.
Yep.
Right. And so you'll get your rate status breakdown as well. So red, amber, green. See the the status of where and how it's going. Thank you.
Oh no, this is just measuring.
You might just go back 2 clicks, that's it. And we'll look at that, that's fine.
So I'll, through Chair, I'll take the report as read, but
It's not
not fully read probably. But I can read questions.
We haven't read that one.
That's us. Oh no,
There
that's
you go.
that's not us.
It's me.
Got that one tomorrow.
Little bit.
A question if I can through the chair, are we ready for questions? Hey, yeah, I should see under the car park reseals appear twice there.
Yes.
And, yep, so, yep. Same amount.
Yes, that's an error. It snuck through. It's just in the parks and open spaces area.
Right, so it's an error. So I'm just digging down a little deeper into that. Is there anything identified that you can tell me if I probably head where we'd be looking at spending that $85,500?
No, not At the moment, we're in that planning phase, so we're working with the park and open spaces team to get a sense of those standard renewals and what the priority is of and what deliverables within those standard renewals.
So if I could just pop into ear, the car park area at the back of our house over here, which council spent about, I don't know how many years trying to acquire from the Ministry of Education, but we have now acquired it. We couldn't previously do any pass sealing work on that because it didn't belong to us. We used to back in the Dindart Pass, then all of a sudden he said we're not. So now we own the land and it is in quite poor condition. Just when you're doing a list of priorities, that one sticks out.
So you will need to be aware that there's a specific budget in the next financial year for the Karakia House car park.
Is it?
Got its own specific budget. It's just unfortunate we couldn't get it swapped around with the playground through the LTP. So the playground's getting done this financial year and the Karakia House car park is getting fully refurbed.
Yeah.
Next financial year.
Okay, sweet.
Any other questions?
You better be. Jesse's found our schedule now.
Those that have been here through previous campaigns, how do those numbers stack up compared to previous allocation? So like footpath rehabilitation, 22,000, streetlights, 17,000. Is that feel about what we've got
About
before?
In the past, the board has always had, that's rehabilitation, isn't it? Not new footpaths.
No.
Yeah, that's pretty standard for what we've had in the past.
Would we need any streetlights replaced?
Question, sorry.
Would we need any streetlights replaced?
So I guess the renewals programs are for when assets reach their natural end of life. So this will be looking at the condition and remaining life of streetlight assets, and renewals will be defined through that. So these assets sit within the council's database or our asset management, and they basically routinely replace them when they reach their end of life. They'll get assessed, of course, so you don't do it just off of what's on in a database, but it's a planned renewal program.
Oh, okay. There's no other questions. Thank you, Luke. Thank you for coming on board. Wish you all the best in your new roles.
Thank you.
Recommendation is that we receive Coromandel Colville Community Board CAPEX projects for 24-25, other information updates report dated 29th of August. I'll move that. Do we have a seconder?
Yep.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Action schedule. Jesse.
I assume that it was read. I will bring that up if you'd like, if it was cut off, was it?
No, not what mine's.
Mine's good.
That's good.
So it's really just the service lane one that's coming from when Tessa came on behalf of the medical centre. And now we have a new property manager, and of course this actually comes under property, not under roading. So I have invited Steve as the new property manager to come to your next networking session so that you can fully brief him of what your intent is, what they're asking, all of that, because he hasn't seemed to have got much lead-in information.
Okay, so is he going to be the right one, Bubbles, or is property going to split it back and say it's road?
Well, he's in charge. I mean, property won't do the work, obviously, and I do know that behind the scenes, Ed has done a lot of work on this, so he will be feeding that to Steve with some recommendations on how things can be sorted. But yes, it will be led by property.
Okay.
Sounds a bit like speed bumps.
And as from this morning, you all know where we're at with the Little Bay speed restrictions.
Yes, we do.
I don't think of any other actions that are missing off of the schedule that we have asked for that we should be keeping a bit of a track on?
Well, just that little base speed restriction, but it's got completed there. I don't want to see that drop off the action schedule. I just need. Do we need to keep that on there, Barbara? Do you think?
We can keep it on because Ed's waiting for,
Yeah.
obviously, the outcome from government, which he thinks may be around November. So we will keep it on, and that's just a matter of Jesse taking the completed tab off and putting it back on in progress.
Yeah, that'd be
6 months or something
The on-
for a update.
I'm sure once Ed has something concrete, he realises this board is keen to know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool, thanks, Neil. We'll see it in a minute.
If it's there, I guess we'll see it and we'll, in time, either get a report or we'll ask for one.
Yeah, and I will certainly each meeting go back to Ed and check whether we've got anything new.
Yeah, whether that's each meeting, but certainly sounds like something that's going to take a little while.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I could think of was the Sugarloaf project. Should that be on there?
Is that not on?
that was in the
CAPEX project.
previous
Oh, was it?
item. Yeah, but I'm happy to give an update. So, yeah,
Now,
I'm happy to do that now. Previous item referred to, the cost and the stuff being awarded to TCDC. I'll just go back to so I know I'm on. And the long and short of it is, yes, costs were awarded to the company. They were significant. I think it's about $7,000 or $8,000. We spent considerably more than that going through the full process. At this stage, the company has decided that it is a insignificant amount. The interests have been good neighbours, just not pursuing it. We haven't got away from it. So making anybody pay. So it's just sitting on the back burner. I have a meeting this afternoon at 2:00 with the board, and they have come up with a number of concepts and designs, which we've got to choose one of. We are finding that we haven't got as much bang for our buck as we had 5 years ago, so there are some hard decisions coming up. So it's finally going to be decided.
Is any of that going to be consulted on?
should we put it on the agenda for future meeting? Thanks for the update. I guess, yeah, it's not the agenda to talk through the Sugarloaf. So we can put that down for another time.
Regarding your consultation, it's been through consultation. The resource seems to be approved. So I don't think it would be a lot.
I just meant the plan. That's all.
What?
The new plan.
It's pretty much what, yeah. It won't vary great from what we applied for under the resource.
Rightio. Nothing else for the action schedule. We put, I suppose there's nothing. What are the community board asking for anything or needing anything from in relation to that project that we should put onto the action schedule? No.
My opinion is
Yes, please.
that there would not be a need to, because this isn't actually something that's under the board's governance or anything, and you do already have a Sugarloaf item in your work program, and that's where the reporting is supposed to come through that.
Yeah. With that.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. Recommendations. We received the action schedule report dated 22 August 24. A mover and a seconder. I'll move it.
I haven't done it. I'll second it.
All those in favour? Aye. Motion is carried. Let's break for 15 minutes just for morning tea. We'll come back. We just have the chairperson's report and then public excluded.
Oh, yeah.
Rightio, welcome back. Cool. Next item on the agenda is just the chairperson's report. Or any questions from anybody about the report?
It was nice, I'm not on there at the moment, but I did read it. It was nice to see you mention your concerns regarding criminal activity in the community. I know there is a lot of concern out there. So yeah, it was nice to see you bring that up.
Tuateawa got their fair share last week.
Sorry.
Oh, really?
Tuateawa, the camp got 19 break-ins.
That's a lot.
Doesn't sound like there was much taken, but
Yeah. Breaking and looking around.
There's been like breaking into all the different caravans and
Rightio, so recommendation is that we receive my report on the 29th of August 24. Have a mover and a seconder.
I'll move it. I'll second it.
Those in favour?
like,
Carried. Hey, in order to deal with this matter, we need to exclude the public. Grounds for exclusion of ordered documents. That we. How do we do this? Move that we go, so we exclude the public from this part of the meeting. We have a seconder.
I'll second it.
In favour?
Aye.
Motion is carried.